Good morning, English 3 students. This is part 3 of the argument writing presentation, and today we are going to begin with the 6th paragraph, which is writing the conclusion. End your essay with a knockout punch. Write a conclusion your reader won't forget. Writing the conclusion. Your conclusion should include a connection back to your hook, that very first sentence that you wrote. Connect back to it to allow the essay to come full circle. A transition into a statement that reinforces your claim. So restate your claim in a new way. A call to action or a solution to a problem if it applies to your topic. Give the reader something to think about. Restate those 3 supporting ideas. For example, you're back in the classroom and the buzzing of your classmate's cell phone hasn't let up. Is she receiving answers for the exam? Sending images of her own test for the next class period? You've had enough, but don't want to be labeled as a narc. Notice that this statement ties right back to the claim, the idea that cell phones are a nuisance in school. Essentially, students shouldn't have to worry about classroom distractions, and teachers aren't paid to be cell phone police. The purpose of school is to learn. So when electronic devices like cell phones prohibit learning, something must be done. A simple solution of banning cell phones in the classroom would eliminate this difficult situation. Let's make learning easier for the students, not harder. Notice the transition. It is highlighted in mint. Essentially, students shouldn't have to worry about classroom distractions, and teachers aren't paid to be cell phone police. The purpose of school is to learn. So when electronic devices like cell phones prohibit learning, something must be done. And finally, reinforce your claim. You've got to restate your claim in your conclusion along with your 3 supporting ideas, making your conclusion a lengthy paragraph as well. And finally, leave the reader something to think about. Let's make learning easier for the students, not harder. Day 2, March 31st, 2020. Today, we will learn proper MLA formatting, MLA citations in text and works cited, and review the rubric. Citing your sources properly. What must be cited? Well, the easy answer to that question is anything that you learn from another source. For example, direct quotations from a source, paraphrases from a source, any facts you learn from the text. The rule of thumb is, if you look it up, you must cite it. In-text citations. All works on the Works Cited page must also be cited in text. Citing in text is not a new idea. I know that you've been citing in text in your other classes, but in-text citations literally means inside the essay itself. Letter B. An in-text citation is simply the author's last name and the page number where you found the information. For example, Johnson 7. This is an in-text citation. Notice that there is no comma, and notice that the period comes at the end of the parentheses. So in this citation, Johnson is the author, and the page where the information was found was 7. If there is no author, which is possible, cite the text using the title of the work, the title of the article, or the title of the book and the page number where the information can be found. For example, this article is entitled "The Biography of Moses." There is no author, so we cite the title and the page is number 7 in parentheses and then the period. If there are no page numbers, you simply leave them out. If there are no page numbers, simply leave them out. For example, 3 phases of the separation response: protest, despair, and then I have cited the author's last name. And this is very common. If you find information on a website or a web page, there will be no page numbers. And of course, the internet is the way we research these days. For example, take a long look at this example. Let's start at the very top. Notice the direct quotation, and we know it's a direct quotation because it's in quotation marks. And then we have the author's last name and the page number. Again, and a different author and page number. Creating an MLA Works Cited page. Now, there's a formula that we are going to use and that makes citing very, very simple. The formula is simple. The author's last name, comma, author's first name, period. Title, period. Publisher, comma, publication date, comma, page numbers, or the URL. And since most of our information is found on the internet, generally you'll be copying and pasting a URL. For example, this is an MLA citation for a works cited page. Notice the author's last name, comma, first name, the title of the article, period, the publisher, the date it was published, and then the URL. You must cite your sources on the on-demand writing test as well as in your English classes next year. And if you go to college, you definitely have to cite your sources. I would like you to try this citation. This is the article, and it has all the information that you need. Can you find the author's name? Yes, Francis Steed Sellers. So to cite, you would write or type Sellers, comma, Francis Steed. Author's first name is Francis Steed. The title of the article, yes, 2 million Americans still don't have running water, new report says. Who is the publisher? Now this one is a little bit tricky on this specific article because there are 2. The Washington Post actually is the first publisher. And then we would also cite Newsella because that's where I got it. So Washington Post, comma, Newsella. The date is 2/13/20. And finally, I got this from the internet. So I would cite the URL, just like this. Even though it looks like a big paragraph, that's how I would cite it. This is the rubric that will be used to score your work. It is the same rubric that we've been using since you were in the 8th grade. We're going to look at what each piece of the rubric means because there are 13 components to the rubric, and there is a breakdown of these 13 components that we're going to talk about at this time. First is your introduction, orienting your audience to the topic. If you follow the 8-sentence outline that I gave you earlier, a hook, background information, your claim, 3 supporting ideas, and a transition sentence, you will earn 15 points for your introduction. However, if you leave parts of that introduction off or have no introduction at all, or if you just launch directly into the topic with a claim, you will get 0 to 3 points. Please take a moment and read each of the different scores on the rubric. Your claim. As you know, your claim has to be a strong sentence that clearly states your stance on the issue. Your claim must be compelling, debatable, and defensible, and it must include a because statement, and it may not include I think or I believe. If you write a strong claim, then you will earn 15 points. However, if your claim is not very strong, or if it doesn't include a because statement, or if you use I think or I believe, you can earn anywhere from 0 to 14 points. Please read the different point values of each level of your claim. Your counterclaim. You must rebuke a counterclaim, so you need to state the opposition as well as prove it wrong. If you leave this part out, of course you'll earn 0 points, and if you write a complete paragraph like the one in video number 2, then you will earn 15 points. Commentary. Commentary is your own writing where you are connecting the evidence back to your claim. You cannot just copy and paste from the articles that will be provided for you, but you must include commentary to clearly connect that evidence to your claim. Categories of evidence. As long as you use 3 categories of evidence in your essay, personal experience, historical or current events, pop culture, social observation, any of the 3, then you will be able to earn 15 points. Conclusion. Provides a compelling conclusion that follows and supports the established argument. Remember to begin with a topic sentence that comes back to your hook, restate your claim, restate your 3 supporting ideas, leave the audience something to think about. Overall organization. As long as you follow the 6-paragraph model, you will earn 10 points. If you do not follow the 6-paragraph model, then you will earn anywhere from 0 to 9 points, depending on what piece you leave out. Transitions. You need to use words like however, furthermore, but, since, because of, in addition to. Those transition words that we went over in the last unit and you have in your guided notes as well as on Google Class.